Hello, I'm going to be doing a book review, and the book I'm reviewing is Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito. Now, Fragments of Horror is a short story collection by author and illustrator Junji Ito. And first off, I want to show off the cover. It's a pretty good cover. In this review, I'll just be telling my initial thoughts on each story. The first story is Futon. And it's the shortest story in this compilation. And, it's a little, it's on the weak side, lacking, but there's a splash page in it that's really good. Essentially, the story's about a guy that is hiding in his futon and won't come out because he's afraid. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because I just recommend just reading it. It's so short. Next story is Wooden Spirit. This is it's a really good one, and it illustrates just how weird and strange Junji Ito and original Junji Ito can get. And essentially it's about this father and daughter who find out that their home is a landmark, and one day they get a knock on the door by this woman who is studying architecture, and she wants to stay at that house to study it. From there, the story just gets weird. Weird, yeah, I'm going to be saying that a lot. Next story is Tomio, or Red Turtleneck. It's a good Junji Ito story. I don't know. I don't really remember a lot from it, but the character is featured on the cover. And the weird thing about this one that I was kind of confused by is Tomio and his girlfriend are also featured in Futon, the first story, which I didn't know if this was like a sequel or a prequel or something, but yeah, it's weird. These characters, yeah, I have no idea. Next story is Gentle Goodbye. And I highly recommend just going in without any prior knowledge and reading it. This is arguably my favorite short story of Junji Ito. It's really good. It's fantastic. Next story is Dissection Chan. And it starts off in a medical school where these students are learning how to be surgeons, right? And so they have all these cadavers that are coming in, and the main character opens up his bag so he could work on his cadaver or whatever, and he finds out that the cadaver is still warm, alive. Yeah. And from there, it's just a strange story. I've heard some people compare it to like Clive Barker. I don't really know, but I've only read a few Clive Barker stories, but it's still a pretty good story. Junji Ito, Dissection Chan, check it out. Next story is Blackbird, and it's arguably the creepiest story. Essentially, it's about this bird watcher who's walking through the forest one day, and he comes across this injured hiker, and the hiker had fallen off a cliff and he broke his leg. But the creepy thing is that you find out that he had survived out there for an entire month, and he didn't have any food or water. And you come to find out how he survived out there for a month without food, and it's just, yeah, it's creepy. Next story is MAGAMI NANAKUSE. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. This one is probably the weirdest story. What I have to say about it is it starts off with this young writer who has written a letter to her favorite novelist and ends up getting a letter back saying that she should come to the house of said novelist. And from there, you find out that her favorite novelist is not what she thinks. In essence, don't meet your heroes, okay? Just don't meet your heroes, or yeah. And the last story is actually probably my second favorite, Whispering Woman. Holy, that's a good story. It's really good. Read it. Go in without knowing any prior knowledge. It is freaking fantastic. Yeah, it's pretty good. So that concludes my review of Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito. I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Now, if you want to start Junji Ito, should you start with Fragments of Horror? Yeah, I think you can. It will introduce you to some of his good stories, especially Whispering Woman. Like, geez, that's like absolute some good Junji Ito stuff right there. and Blackbird. But yeah, check it out.